First off, hello! I know it's been a while, and I'm trying to get back on my feet with this, and I'm excited to be back in the YouTube ring and bring some new content to the table. If you want an explanation for why I was gone, wait until the end of the video and I'll go into more detail. But I'm back, I'm Glargity, and today I want to talk about the community known as alpha males. A depressing topic, I know, but let's get into it. And for those of you who don't know what an alpha male is, it is a man tending to assume a dominant or domineering role in social or professional situations. But that definition just scratches the surface of the community at large, because their base belief is that being an alpha male means you have to compete, fight, or dominate to be the best in a group, thus dubbing you an alpha, and they have even made a cute little graph to show who ranks in the hierarchy. The hierarchy goes as follows: Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma, Omega, and Sigma. Now that's a lot to unpack, so I'll also give you definitions for these. An alpha male is first, domineering, top of the social ladder. A delta male is someone who's attributed to being almost as good as an alpha, but isn't as domineering. A beta is a worker type, somebody that can be stepped on and will only give women if they have resources or money. Gamma is a man that knows nothing and will never get a woman. And an omega is an incel, basically. And an incel's definition is somebody who is angry at the world for not having a woman. They're also known as involuntarily celibate. And finally, Sigma. People are split on whether it is on the hierarchy or just beside the hierarchy. Some say it's above alpha males, some say it's below, and some say it's exactly in line with alphas. But their main trait is being a lone wolf, somebody who does their own thing and desires power instead of women. Now these are just definitions. I in no way think that people can be sorted in this way, and frankly it's hard to stomach most of these ideas, but I will go on to the main issue I have with all of these things. Alpha males are a growing community, blowing up on TikTok, YouTube, sometimes even Facebook if anybody else still uses that. But it all sorts around the core concept that alpha men have the best advice for picking up women, and beta, gamma, whatever, they will follow along to also try to get women, like a runoff system. It is the new pickup artist trend, but they have merged into a personality type, and it's really easy to tell because the tips are the same. Be confident, don't act feminine, always be in control. And the thing is, are those tips on how to be an alpha, or are they tips on how to be a pickup artist? They're literally the same tips that you would get from either group. And alpha male culture is the belief that you're always going to stick with your alpha, beta, etc. status in life based on your personality. It's not a learned thing. And that's the only difference between pickup artists and alpha male culture. And another part of it is that alpha culture is pretending that people are below you. Not just the men you degrade and sort into a hierarchy, but also women you pretend are mindless animals following instincts that you're just hoping will go along with your idealistic status. And yes, I know human beings are technically animals, but they have this unique ability to understand things beyond themselves, which is why people shouldn't be sorted out like an outdated wolf hierarchy that doesn't even hold up to the person who discovered it. It was recalled and highlighted in an article by Insider. David Minch introduced the idea of the alpha to describe the behavior observed in captive animals. Alphas, he wrote in his 1970 book, The Wolf, Ecology and Behavior of an Endangered Species, win in culture of the packs and violent fights with other males. But as he outlined in a 1999 paper, he soon rejected the idea of light research on behavior of wolves in the wild. In Nature, Minch writes, wolves split from their packs when they are mature, seek out opposite-sex companions with whom to form new packs. The male and female co-dominant new pack is much simple, more peaceful, and they are the parents of the pups. To explain that in the simplest terms, Minch says, less than 30 years after he published that first research, that actually alpha males don't exist. They are just compact males unable to go off and make their own packs, so they are in conflict. When in reality, their social status is to do with their family status as well. They're in charge of pups. They're not fighting for dominance constantly like the alpha male culture wants you to believe. And do you want to know why that is? It's because wolves are social animals, like humans. And humans with enough room to spread out can pack families, talk to people, and be a functioning society, much like wolves. When they are socially stimulated, they don't have to fight each other for dominance constantly. That is why when male roommates tend to clash, it's not because they're not good social people, it's because they're afraid that people are invading their space. And that's the thing, it's not even just with men roommates, it's with female roommates as well. Animals clash when they're too close together, but when they spread out, they can be social, they can function. They're normal animals that can do things. And also, to go back to my previous point, humans are more evolved than wolves. So basing a social hierarchy based on this weird social hierarchy on wolves that was reneged within 30 years does not make any sense. And that's where the idealistic male hierarchy comes from. An outdated idea that male wolves are sorted into who is better than others instead of a family dynamic in which wolf parents are in charge of pups. The entire ideology is a misunderstanding turned lie to sell the idea of misogyny to men who believe they deserve not only domain over women, but also other men. It's toxic and a weird state of mind that can hurt people growing up in these spaces. When it comes down to it, people are buying this crap. And some people wish to be a part of a toxic cycle so bad, they're willing to believe that people that seem more confident than them are actually better. And it's kind of a shame that men in their 20s trying to figure things out latch onto these ideas that you can get any girl, woman, or anyone you want just by following these people. And the reality is these people are usually men in their 40s with a trust fund and literally nothing else to do in their lives, so they try to feed off men's insecurities. And the reality is, if you're insecure about your dating life, that's not really a problem. People are always trying to figure out new things. It's a constant cycle. People aren't alphabetically sorted into categories that make them better at dating. Some people just have more charisma. Some people are just slightly worse at talking. There are things like social anxiety that get in the way. And not everything from this community is terrible. You can be a dominant person without having to crush people underneath you. You can be very confident, and that's something you should probably be proud of, because it's not something that a lot of people have. But if you're more shy, if you like to listen to people instead of talking over them all the time, if you like to just do things more muted, that's not a bad thing. You can be a successful person without needing to have control over others constantly. You can have a happy, fulfilling life without the need to actually degrade people around you. And if you're still figuring things out, that's totally fine. If you're confident and happy where you are, that's also fine. The point is, I don't like alpha culture because it makes people want to be one thing. But you don't have to be the top of the social ladder based on wolves that was reneged within 30 years. You can just be you. Someone who holds value, no matter where you land on the weird alpha graph. And that's all I really have to say about alpha culture, and why it's pretty toxic. And before I sign off, I did promise an explanation for the reason why I was gone. So I had a stressful move, and it had involved me losing my cats for a full month because of temporary roommates having allergies. So I put them up with a close friend of mine while I looked for a permanent placement. Now that we're back together, I couldn't be happier. But even after getting my cats back a month ago, I couldn't really bring myself to be back in the YouTube game just yet. So I wanted to feel like I was completely ready to bring some good content to the sphere, since mostly I had been posting speed paints and the most depressing milestone video ever. Long story short, I wasn't ready then, but I am now. I'm ready to get back into the game, and I hope to see you all next week. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I promise it's free. Stay safe and stay home.